Hey viewers, you're watching The Savera and I'm Vidhi Joshi. Tensions between the United States and China escalated sharply this weekend after President Donald Trump announced a sweeping 100% tariff on all the Chinese imports, set to take effect on November 1. In a statement released online, China's Ministry of Commerce hit back strongly, accusing Washington of adopting double standards and undermining the fragile atmosphere of economic and trade negotiations between the two nations. Calling Trump's move a typical example of double standards, a spokesperson from the ministry condemned what it described as the US confrontational and unilateral approach. Threatening high tariffs at every turn is not the right way to engage with China, the ministry said, warning that such economic aggression was harming China's interest and seriously damaging the potential for constructive dialogue. President Donald Trump had justified the drastic increase in tariffs as a direct response to what he termed China's extraordinarily aggressive new export restrictions on rare earth minerals, critical components in the defense, clean energy, and electric vehicle sectors. He accused Beijing of weaponizing its dominant position in the rare earths market to disrupt global supply chains and pressure the United States. There is no way that China should be allowed to hold the world captive, Donald Trump declared, describing the export curbs as a moral disgrace and very hostile. The new tariffs would raise the overall rate of Chinese goods to about 130%, a level not seen since the peak of the US-China trade war during Trump's first term. Trump also signaled that a planned meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping scheduled for later this month may be cancelled in light of the mounting tensions. Speaking at the White House, Donald Trump said, "I haven't cancelled. However, I'm not sure if we all have it," leaving the possibility of direct diplomatic talks hanging in uncertainty. In response, China defended its recent export controls, framing them as legitimate national security measures rather than retaliatory moves. The Ministry of Commerce stated that Beijing remains open to enhancing dialogue and cooperation with other nations over export control policies in order to maintain the security and stability of global industrial and supply chains. Nonetheless, the ministry firmly reiterated China's stance. "We do not want a trade war, but we are not afraid to fight one." Beijing's new rules announced on October 9 require companies, both Chinese and foreign, to obtain government approval before exporting any product containing more than 0.1% rare earth content by value. Additionally, China expanded its list of restricted materials and banned rare earth exports intended for foreign military use. All these measures were interpreted globally as a strategic response to Washington's tightening restrictions on semiconductor export and its broader effort to contain China's technological rise. In the recent weeks, the two sides have been trading blows beyond tariffs and minerals. China introduced new port fees on US ships starting October 14 and launched an antitrust investigation into American chip maker Qualcomm, signaling that Beijing was preparing broader retaliation across trade and technology fronts. The cumulative effect of these moves points to an intensifying economic standoff, with both the powers digging in amid rising geopolitical friction. Despite denying a direct link between the two rare earth export rules and the US tariffs, Chinese officials acknowledged the escalating pressure since September. They warned Washington that continued provocation through punitive measures would not only hurt bilateral ties but also jeopardize the broader global economic landscape. Beijing maintained that its restrictions were driven by national security concerns, especially given the increasing militarization of supply chains and frequent global conflicts. As the tariff war spirals into a broader confrontation, the world watches closely, wary of the long-term fallout on global markets, supply chains, and diplomatic stability between the world's two largest economies. That's all for now. Stay tuned to The Savera for more updates. Do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.